No one here can figure out why any of you would be willing to complain rather than praise when praise feels so much better. Why you would be willing to hate rather than love when love feels so much better. Why you would be willing to deprive yourself of well-being, of vitality, of clarity, of wellness, when wellness and clarity and vitality feel so wonderful. And we know you do it because you got a habit of doing it, and it's hard to break habits. You do it because law of attraction enables you. Now, we love law of attraction. Law of attraction makes the world go round. Law of attraction is what causes those of the same vibrational frequency to come together. Law of attraction is the most powerful manager ever imagined. Law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. Law of attraction is the bomb. Law of attraction is everything. Law of attraction is everything. But law of attraction will enable you to keep a negative thing going. Because if you're thinking a negative thought, law of attraction says, here's another one. And as you add that one, law of attraction says, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. Because law of attraction does not focus you. Law of attraction responds to your focus. It's up to you to focus. It's up to you to decide. It's up to you to be determined. It's up to you to make a decision. It's up to you. It's up to you to focus yourself into the alignment with that which you are. Now, we're not trying to talk you into being more than you are. We're wanting you to get up to speed with who you are. Because we know that every little bit of negative emotion that you feel ever, ever, ever is for one reason only. Who you really are, because of all that you've lived, is vibrating at a higher frequency than you are allowing yourself to vibrate at right here, this red hot minute. Have you ever been in a new relationship and it just felt so good, and then it got old? Have you ever been on your way to a new work environment and you felt so exhilarated and excited in the beginning, and then it stopped giving you that feeling? As we watch you, and we watch all of you, as we see humans in their fantastic exploration and expansion, we notice that the majority of the creation that you do as you create your empires and your relationships and the structures of your life, whether it is personal relationships or global relationships, whether it is monetary empires, whether it is subjects of understanding the philosophy of the world, as you are building these magnificent physical structures and creations, the majority of your work happens before you gather the first board or the first brick or the first computer or the first computer programmer. In other words, the majority of your creation happens before you begin to take any physical action, because there is a vibrational structure, a vibrational grid, a vibrational creation that takes place. It's really interesting thing to see that when you ask for something, immediately the source within you, we call that your inner being, the whole of you, becomes an immediate vibrational match to what you're asking for. And law of attraction gathers the cooperative components to it, so there is an immediate attraction of everything that you are asking for. But if you're still beating the drum of what is, I don't have enough money, I don't know what I'm going to do, I've never had enough money, I don't know hardly anybody who has enough money. As you beat the drum of what is, you hold yourself vibrationally apart from what you are really wanting. Now, the best news in all of that is every time you do that, you can feel your vibrational discord. A few years back, we wrote a book with the best title ever given to a book. Ask and it is given. And it was speaking about exactly that. Because when you ask, even with a soft preference, the vibrational part of you, the non-physical part of you, the source energy part of you, the God force part of you, doesn't just answer the request, it becomes the vibrational equivalent of the solution. So if you've got a problem, the solution is there immediately, because you can't have a problem without asking for the solution. You can't have a question without asking for the answer. And in this magnificent universe where you ask, source answers. Where you ask, it is given. That's what's happening. But when you feel that you have to justify it, and we know how you got there. In other words, you came into this physical body and you looked to those other big people as the vortex through which your well-being came. And as they said to you, don't behave that way. You must cater to me. You must please me. And whether they said it right out loud or not, and plenty of them did, you caught on pretty quick that you needed to do things that would make you friendly in the community in which you were living. And so you began one who pleased those around you. When they frowned, you did something different. You always, not always, but especially in the beginning, you were trying to evoke a pleasing response from those who were outside of you, even those who were well-meaning, like your parents and those up close to you. But what happened in that is that you lost your sense of your relationship with your vortex. You lost your sense of your relationship with this larger part of you who has just now become more as a result of what you have been living. Are you following us at all? There are a few things that we really want you to accept from us. And we will do our very best to convince you. And usually we are quite convincing because our knowing is strong. You are vibrational beings. Most of you don't know it. You are told about your vibration. It's indicated to you by emotion. Because the larger part of you, you can never get away from. The larger part of you, you're not dead or alive. You are alive and alive. The larger part of you is always offering this vibration. So there's always a signal that's being offered. And you, as you are focused and conscious, you are offering a vibrational signal as well. So there is always this relationship between the two vibrational aspects of you, which are indicated by your emotions. The better you feel, the more aligned you are with who you are and all that you have become. The worse you feel, the more out of alignment you are with who you are and who you have become. And that really is all you need to know. Now, we get it that you get it. And you get it that we get it that you get it. In other words, we all get it that we all get it. In other words, you get it. We know that you get it. But practicing it is something else altogether, isn't it? Practicing it is something else altogether. And do you know why it's hard for you to practice this, to put it into action? Is because you have become one of many who de-emphasizes your emotions. You don't let your emotions count for much. You don't realize that anger really matters because it's an indication of vibration. When you are tuned in to the frequency of who you are, then anyone that you visit with, you see them in the wholeness of who they are. That's been the secret of masters and healers from the beginning of time. They behold you as you really are, not as you may temporarily be being, as you are depriving yourself of being all that you really are because you're fussing over something, because you've got yourself convinced that reality is the most important thing. The reality that is manifested. The house you live in, the body, how your body looks, how your body feels, your bank account. You think that that is reality. And we say, it is a part of reality. Certainly it is. And we understand why you think it is reality because you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. But we want you to know it's a reality that is past tense. It's old news. Once it's manifested, it's a vibrational dinosaur. Once it is manifested, it is about something that is not as important as what's going on in your vortex. If you think of this realm that you live in and this realm that we live in as a vibrational realm rather than a physical manifested realm, it helps you to understand this more clearly. And there's plenty in your physical world that you accept as being vibrational. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have to line up. And the frequency of your vortex is a very high, pure, non-resistant frequency. And if your frequency is set on trouble, then even though the vortex is calling you, eternally, always will, as long as that resistance is active within you, you can't go. Now, when you croak, you'll withdraw your attention from this time-space reality, and your resistance won't be active anymore, and the vortex will take you in, and you will experience all of that explosive expansion that you've been accumulating over all of this time. We just don't think you should have to croak to go to the vortex. We think that you should be able to use your ability to focus in a way that causes you to allow yourself to be more of that which you are. Because nothing is more delicious than to be focused in your physical body and to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the frequency of who you really are and having the fullness of all of that blowing through you. So that when you're talking with your grandchildren, you're who you really are. You're loving them unconditionally and seeing their value and talent, you see. When you are in your vehicle driving down your freeway and you're steering and you get off onto those bumps on the side of the road. Esther plays with Jerry with the bumps on a pretty regular basis. It always gets his attention. No wise person would ignore those bumps. In other words, when you're on the bumps, you're close to the bar pit. When you're on the bumps, you're either veering into the oncoming traffic or veering over into another lane. Those bumps are indicators to let you know you're not doing with this vehicle what you mean to do with this vehicle. So when you feel the bumps of negative emotion, it's an indicator to do something. But so often you don't, because it's entertaining to complain. Or because you're making a damn good point that someone needs to get. You're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore, and it's high time that someone else feels as bad about this as you do. There are all kinds of reasons, but mostly it's because you don't realize what's going on. You don't realize that negative emotion indicates resistance in your vibration. And resistance in your vibration means you're slowing down your vibration. And slowing down your vibration means you're not up to speed with who you are. And not being up to speed with who you are prevents you from being who you are, from feeling who you are, from manifesting who you are. But most of all, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to not be who you are. Why you put up with that defies the logic of source energy, we want to tell you. We enjoy knowing the physicalness of that which is you. You are so beautifully physical, which means you're really good at interpreting a reality through your physical senses. What you see is just an interpretation of vibration. What you hear is an interpretation of vibration. What you smell and taste and touch, just vibrational interpretations. But you, bless you, you make that reality, because I can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. So that's real. And what's in the vortex, Abraham, dear friend, that vortex that you keep pointing at and telling us we should get in it, I have to tell you, we hear you say, I can't actually see or hear or smell or taste or touch anything over there. So I'm not so sure that that's a reality worth giving my attention to. And we say, that's what trips you up. Your reality that is so, you just like it so much. It calls you because you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste and touch it. So you want to see it and look at it and taste it and touch it and hear it. You want to give it your undivided attention. And we say, if you give your problem your undivided attention, you hold yourself apart from being a cooperative component to the solution. You say, but I can't see the solution. And let me tell you about the problem. I've had it for a long time. I've never liked it. It bothers me in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. Others have it too. We have a meetup group online. And we say, if you keep keeping the problem active in your vibration, you see, that wasn't your plan. You planned to come as part of your consciousness into this physical body, explore, identify what you prefer, and as soon as you identify it, to give your undivided attention to that new preference. And when you do that, when life shows you what you want, and then you talk about what it is you want and why you want it, and you think about all the reasons that you would love to